announced that Caitlin Clark will join their coverage for Sunday Night Basketball beginning this weekend for the Lakers versus the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. This is the WNBA superstar's debut as an NBA analyst, and NBC has absolutely been killing it. First they had MJ, which, by the way, that deal was insane. He got paid $40 million, and I literally think he sat down.
Check out the story that's currently blowing up across social media. When Aliyah Boston saw Caitlin Clark secure that massive NBC analyst role, her reaction started trending for all the right reasons. While a lot of WNBA veterans chose to stay silent or hint at some subtle frustration over Caitlin's success, Aliyah took the lead with the kind of sincere support that defines a true teammate. Her brief, two-word response actually says more about the Indiana Fever's culture than any formal interview. Does Aliyah's public backing prove the Fever have fostered the most unbreakable star duo in the league? Or are we simply reading too much into a quick social media post? The moment Aliyah learned Caitlin was joining NBC Sports as a special contributor for Basketball Night in America, she didn't waste any time. She hopped on Instagram and posted, "Period. Yes, babe. Period." That was it, just a few words and an emoji. But in the context of how other players have reacted to Caitlin's rapid rise, those words carry massive weight. They project genuine excitement and total authenticity, with zero hint of the jealousy we've seen from critics trying to minimize Caitlin's influence over the last 2 years. Honestly, Aliyah's response feels like a total breath of fresh air.
What are your thoughts on your teammate joining you as a colleague at NBC?
Oh, I know. I'm super excited. I think that's awesome. I think Caitlin's going to do a great job. She's awesome at everything she does, and so this is going to be...
Let's dive into why this moment is such a game changer. Caitlin just landed arguably the most prestigious broadcasting gig in the history of women's hoops. She's joining the elite NBA coverage team alongside icons like Carmelo Anthony, Tracy McGrady, and Vince Carter, all hosted by Maria Taylor. Mark your calendars, she debuts February 1st at Madison Square Garden for Lakers vs. Knicks, returning March 29th for Thunder vs. Knicks. This is NBC's flagship basketball program, and they specifically recruited Caitlin for their roster. For any active athlete, that's a monumental achievement. What truly amplifies Aliyah's support, however, is the context. The 2025 season was a nightmare for the Indiana Fever. Caitlin was limited to just 13 games due to a string of injuries, specifically that persistent right groin issue that sidelined her for the entire second half. With Sophie Cunningham and 3 other starters also out for the year, Aliyah was forced to carry a much heavier load than expected. And she stepped up perfectly. Playing in all 44 regular season games, she averaged 15 points on a stellar 53.8% shooting, while adding 8.2 boards, 3.7 assists, and 1.2 steals. She rightfully earned her 3rd straight All-Star nod. That is the reality behind Aliyah's loyalty. She had to transform her game because her superstar partner was on the bench. It would have been easy to harbor resentment for carrying the franchise alone, or to feel a spark of jealousy seeing Caitlin land these high-profile off-season opportunities. Even though Aliyah is one of only 3 Fever players under contract for 2026, she is genuinely ecstatic about her teammates' success. That right there is the definition of true leadership and a solid friendship.
So crazy that it feels like every other sport will just come out and say what it is besides the WNBA. The NBA is not scared to acknowledge that there's no more iconic figure in basketball. Not just the women's game, but possibly the game in general than Caitlin Clark. But we would not hear that in the WNBA space. We wouldn't hear that from WNBA media. But the NBA media and the NBA and the league itself is not scared to say it. Like we've seen it when Caitlin does golf events. It just seems like every league but her own is not scared to.
The contrast between Aliyah's energy and the way other WNBA veterans have handled Caitlin's success is incredibly sharp. While many have met the NBC announcement with total radio silence, others have dropped passive-aggressive hints, suggesting certain players receive opportunities they haven't earned. There's a persistent trend of trying to downplay or minimize every milestone Caitlin reaches, but Aliyah's enthusiastic reaction completely shatters that narrative. She clearly doesn't feel threatened or overshadowed by Caitlin's spotlight. Instead, she's actively leaning in, celebrating her teammates' win and lifting her up for the world to see.
What was it like for you this past season in certain situations and circumstances to be the one offering advice and offering comfort versus the one receiving it? Because, the previous year you were the rookie, right? How was that role different for you, and how comfortable were you taking that on?
I think, the only difference really is that I was doing it in the league. This time, I feel like I've always been someone that kind of gives advice and kind of gives my 2 cents especially when it comes to basketball, just because obviously the way I see the game. And so for me this year, especially having Caitlin being a rookie, like I obviously just being a rookie the year before and knowing exactly what's going to come, whether it's the refs, whether it's social media. But I think also Caitlin handles that like a champ. Like she knows exactly what it's going to be, but she also knows that she has a big name, and Caitlin Clark is a huge name that people want to come on. They want to say what they think. They want to what she should do, what this should happen. But I think when you look at it, Caitlin's just a competitor, right? And so for me, it made it easy because the advice I gave was just, okay, girl, I'll be my little short roll. If that's what you need, don't worry about the refs because they're not going to give you any calls because that's exactly what they do to rookies. And especially her being the player that she is, like they essentially want to see, oh, well, can you handle yourself on this league? But I think as the season went on, like you saw Caitlin, she handled that like a champ. And I think she handled it from the very first game. Is that her thing is she's here to compete. She's here to win. And
Aliyah Boston just gave a masterclass in what it means to be a teammate. By genuinely celebrating Caitlin's broadcasting breakthrough instead of resenting it, she proved the Indiana Fever have something special brewing, two superstars who actually root for one another. If you love seeing professionalism win out over jealousy in the WNBA, smash that like button and hit subscribe. Don't forget to drop a comment about the Fever's championship potential with this incredible duo. This isn't the first time Aliyah has shown this level of character. During Caitlin's rookie year, when veterans were handing out hard fouls and complaining about the new attention on the league, Aliyah was her constant support system. She refused to play the petty jealousy game, never making snide remarks about the spotlight. Instead, she focused on elite basketball and building on-court chemistry, helping transform the Fever organization from the inside out. That same professionalism carried through a brutal 2025 season. When injuries sidelined Caitlin for half the year and took out Sophie Cunningham and others, Aliyah shouldered an enormous load. She didn't grow bitter about carrying the team while Caitlin landed off-season deals, she simply delivered. This connection represents the ideal partnership, Caitlin's playmaking and range perfectly complementing Aliyah's dominant interior presence and defensive grit. Aliyah clearly understands that Caitlin's success is a win for everyone. A massive NBC deal raises the franchise's profile, keeps them in the headlines all off-season, and makes Indiana a top destination for free agents. She sees that a rising tide lifts all boats, a mindset that separates winners from losers. While some veterans view the league as a zero-sum game, Aliyah is celebrating her teammates' success because she knows it creates more opportunities for the whole roster. With only Caitlin, Aliyah, and one other player locked into 2026 contracts, this bond is the foundation for the team's entire rebuild. Had they fallen into the toxic rivalry scene elsewhere in the league, the Fever would be in trouble. Instead, they have two stars who authentically empower each other. Caitlin's own statement reflected that same class, staying humble and expressing excitement to learn from legends like Melo and Vince. The 2025 season tested this team in ways no one expected. Emerging from that adversity with their superstars more united than ever speaks volumes. Aliyah's response also serves as a subtle call-out to the critics. She's proving you can be a superstar yourself while still uplifting another. She's showing that Caitlin's achievements only threaten those insecure about their own legacy. As the league navigates CBA chaos, Aliyah chooses professionalism over pettiness. While others are making headlines for the wrong reasons, these two are elevating the sport. Fans are noticing, too. Social media is flooded with praise for Aliyah's authenticity. People are hungry for real friendship in the WNBA, not constant drama. Aliyah didn't wait for a PR script, she reacted instantly and honestly. That's the mentality that builds championships. Indiana got lucky with these two, not just for their talent, but for the character that will define the franchise's trajectory for years to come.